Hello team. Before we talk about containers, let's talk a little bit about how operating systems manage processes. So you have a computer running an operating system and multiple applications on top of the operating system. So the operating system manages these applications. And the operating system is very efficient at this. So it can start and terminate applications very fast. These applications have more direct access to the hardware, which is more efficient than in a virtual machine because we don't have virtual devices in between. The operating system allows applications to share memory effectively. So if one application needs more memory, it might take this memory from the other application. And we can scale applications by running them on multiple servers if we need to. For example, if an application has a lot of users, we need to run more instances, we can spawn this application in different servers, and then the application will get more capacity. So it would be great, it would be very efficient if we could run our cloud applications as just applications on top of an operating system. However, the operating system doesn't enforce complete isolation between applications by default. We know that the operating system has some isolation facilities. For example, processes have virtual address spaces so that one program doesn't interfere with another program's memory. And we have user IDs, and then each user has a set of privileges, and we can use the user IDs to control access to files on the file system, for example. So there are some isolation facilities that are enforced by default in operating systems, but they don't enforce complete isolation. For example, the applications running on a machine still have shared access to the network. So an application can try to infer how much other applications are using the network because the bandwidth is shared. An application can try to find what ports are being used because the ports that applications can use are also shared. The file system is shared. So for example, an application can check how much free space that is in the file system. And then depending on how much free space, the application might be able to infer whether other applications are using a lot of disk space. And there's also shared metadata. For example, an application can get a list of the other processes running on the operating system. And there's also free competition to access hardware resources. For example, when an application is using a lot of CPU, the other applications will be able to get less CPU. So applications can monitor how much of the CPU they are getting, and with this, they might be able to infer if other applications are doing a lot of work and using a lot of CPU. So this sharing allows information to leak from one application to another through the operating system, and this leak of information is one of the things that we need to avoid in a cloud environment. So let's see how containers help us with this problem.